Welcome back to the news at 10. The Anambra State Governor Willie Obiano is drawing up new strategies to tighten security and make the state more habitable for residents and visitors. Operation Udoka is a reinforcement of the activities of security agencies in the state, targeted at shielding residents from violent crimes through effective patrols and prompt response to distress calls throughout the Yuletide.
Various security agencies gathered at the Benin Park axis of the bridgehead in Onitsha, Anambra State, southeast Nigeria, for the launch of Governor Willie Obiano's security initiative for the Yuletide season called Operation Udoka.
We are not going to tolerate any misfeasance from any criminal anywhere. So better stay where you are if you're a criminal. This is an opportunity to call the Anambra living everywhere in diaspora, which will include abroad and living outside Anambra in other states in Nigeria, to come home.
The security operatives are happy and pledge their support for the operation, assuring the people of their all-round security and protection.
Operation Udoka is another modern vision to secure all nooks and crannies of the state via effective patrol, stop and search, constant presence and prompt response to distress calls. We are grateful to good people of Anambra for not only supporting and being law-abiding. Because of their conduct and their cooperation, these security men have remained united, and they will remain united to serve the people.
Next, the governor presents to the families of 4 officers who fell in the line of duty ₦1 million each, and the state is to bear the costs of their burial. Recognitions and awards are also given to well-deserving officers. The launch of the Udoka initiative is a message to miscreants and would-be disturbers of peace that the law is waiting.
The Federal Inland Revenue Service says taxes recovered through the Voluntary Asset and Income Declaration Scheme will help to fund infrastructure. And at a meeting with media practitioners in Lagos, the executive chairman of the FIRS, Babatunde Fowler, revealed that 17 billion naira was voluntarily paid by some companies through the scheme, and that the agency is willing to partner with anyone who signs up.
We have BVN now.
Pushing out information about the Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration Scheme is important. And what other way to do so than to talk to the media?
Of course, you have opportunity of engaging the relevant tax authority.
And so journalists gather at this Parley, and the scheme is broken down to the nitty-gritty.
The taxpayers are being given that amnesty period of how many months? 9 months. And why do we say amnesty? There will be no penalty for late payment. All those taxes you have not paid in the last 6 years, you are given opportunity to redress and make those payments. Interest will not be charged for late payment. And of course, you have opportunity of engaging the relevant tax authority to pay those taxes over a 3-year period.
If all goes well, the federal government is expected to rake in an additional 6 billion naira from the implementation of the scheme before the end of the year. And there are obvious benefits for the country.
Why we are doing this to fund our budget and provide infrastructure. We should therefore embrace the scheme within the time allowed to avoid serious consequences. There are serious consequences including prosecution, criminal. Tax evasion is criminal offense.
For the boss of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, his plea to tax defaulters is, please come forward.
I assure you that our objective is not to kill any business. Our objective, like you said, we're not out to prosecute. We're just trying to bring everybody back up on the right footing for the love of country, for the love of the future generation, and for the love of doing the right thing.
With dwindling oil revenues, the Voluntary Assets and Income Declaration Scheme is described as vital to the nation's quest to enhance economic recovery and growth.
Now, despite calls for the participation of women in critical sectors of the economy, many believe there's still gender imbalance, and that's also apparent in the manufacturing sector. To close the gender gap in that sector, Lafarge Africa and Access Bank have introduced a platform to encourage women and promote their aspirations in the industry.
Over the years, there's been a general impression that manufacturing is largely dominated by men. But these women are part of those trying to change that narrative. To further drive the course of women in the manufacturing sector, a platform is launched. Women in Manufacturing in Africa is a trade association with a vision to provide support and encourage women in their manufacturing careers. Lafarge and Access Bank are at the forefront of this course.
Across Africa, as we can see, 38% of the manufacturing workforce are mainly in the menial low-paying aspects of the manufacturing industry, and even less, in fact, significantly less, with regards to CEOs, women CEOs in that position. And that's really one clear case, as we can understand, and I'm sure we all concur, is a compelling case for change, and which is essentially why we're really collaborating together as women to really ensure that we can drive this agenda and redress that imbalance.
We have a mission that we'll unveil today. We have a vision that speaks to the essence of the initiative, and we just hope that after today, we have more women come on board, more women get, to participate in what will become transformational in terms of even from children entering school who will now have more desire to take up STEM courses and end up becoming the engineering students that will then operate in the manufacturing industries.
CEOs provide thoughts around women in manufacturing and what the organizations are doing to get more women in leadership roles.
Every single woman on our leadership team, our chief finance officer, is the first time in our 94-year history that we've had a woman. But we never started out by saying we're looking for a woman. We went out looking for the best, dealing with the barriers, and as it came out, the best ended up with 52% as women. So that's our story.
There is indeed great potential for women-run industries to create productive jobs and grow value chains in Nigeria. The platform will look at increasing the value and capacity of these businesses through technical assistance, facilitating access to finance and mentorship.
And now let's take a look at some business news. Here's Melinda Akinlami.
You first. First Bank.
Many thanks, Ijoma. An independent survey agency has put the nation's bank population at 61%, leaving about 40 unbanked. The Chief Executive Officer of NOI Polls, Dr. Bear Ihua, told the gathering in Abuja that the figure shows an improvement of 28%. He goes further to reveal the findings and the vision most affected.
Bank account ownership in Nigeria currently stands at 61%, and this represents an improvement from 2008 when our poll reported only 28%. Conversely, the finding highlights an unbanked population of 39%, especially in the northwest geopolitical region, where 69% of those polled say they do not have a bank account or any formal financial or an account with any formal financial institution.
And that's the Ogun State Governor Ebikule Amosu ringing the closing gong at the Nigerian Stock Exchange. He also expressed the state's commitment to partner with the exchange. He identifies agriculture, healthcare, infrastructure, and other possible areas for collaboration.
So that Ogun State will be part of those states that are now with the stock exchange. We need to borrow long. We have this fund here, so we are going to come here and we are going to support us. Of course, for some of you, that's what we are in Ogun State and who we are. We have these our 5 cardinal programs, and it starts with education, health, agriculture that will lead us to industrialization. We are taking full advantage of the value chain that are in agriculture. In the area of our urban housing and urban renewal, you know what we are doing. You can support us, particularly in the area of infrastructural development. Of course, you know there can be no development when the infrastructures are not there. The challenges we are having is this huge deficit of infrastructure that we have. People live, you will see people working in London, they live in Manchester. For example, in Nigeria, people can be living in Ilorin and they will be working in Lagos. If our rail is good, if our transport system is good, and we are happy now that things are coming up. And we need long-term fund to develop all these critical infrastructures. So we are beckoning on you, and I know that you are ready to support what we are doing as a state and what we are doing as a nation.
Governor of Ogun State, Ibikunle Amosu. And we're still at the stock exchange where more profit-taking hit key sectors at the close of today's trading session as the market records its biggest loss in 3 months. Chimize tells us more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The bears maintain grip of the equities market as profit-taking continues to take its toll. Market analysts simply call it end-of-year jitter. The sell-off was heaviest on Dangote Cement. That stock lost almost 10 naira, and that pulled the all-share index down by as much as 1.56%. Looking at the sectoral indices, all but the oil and gas treaded waters, with industrial leading the fall by a whopping 3.08%. Interestingly, the total transaction value was quite impressive at over 6 billion naira, an indication that the market fundamentals are still strong. Analyst projection is that the market will hit the 40,000 mark by the end of the year. We have barely 2 weeks to year end. We'll wait and see if this dream comes true. And that was the Stock Market Report. I'm Chimize Obi Iwago.
Sell-offs also hit most of the world's leading stock markets today as investors wait for the final version of the tax reform plan by the U.S. Congress. And with those closing numbers, we wrap up business news. I'm Melinda Akinlami. Back to you, Joma.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Melinda. The Independent National Electoral Commission has registered 21 new political parties, bringing the number of registered parties in Nigeria to 67. The INEC National Commissioner, May Agbamuche Mbu, says the decision to register the new parties was taken during the weekly meeting of the electoral body held at the INEC headquarters in Abuja. He said the meeting also took decisions regarding the findings on the allegation of double registration by the Kogi State Governor Yahya Bello and the outstanding Anambra Central Senatorial rerun election. On the issue of double registration, the Commission has set up a panel of investigation into the involvement of its staff in the matter, while on the Anambra rerun election, the Commission announced that the outstanding election to fill the vacant seat would take place on January the 13th, 2018. Still ahead on the news at 10, Russian President Vladimir Putin insists his country has vast experience in holding major sporting events and will be ready for the 2018 FIFA World Cup. Please stay with us.